The main configuration file for Jobiation is options.py. In this video, I will start a task and send some commands to my devices and point out how the options in this file affect the task. Before I begin, I will open the commands file so you can see what commands I will be sending to my devices. The default commands are simply a config-t, end, and write, which is fine because we are only interested in the job options, not in actually accomplishing anything. To run a send commands task, I will change directory to the send commands directory and run the send commands.py script. Notice the script is asking me what username I want to use. I will cancel this task for now with a Control-C. If I do not want to get prompted for a username every task, I can populate the Ansible user option. These first four options control values in the Ansible host file, and these options control values in the Ansible playbook file. I will start a send commands job and then examine the auto-generated hosts and playbook files. I will type N to tell the script I do not want to use an enable password. I will now browse to the working directory for this job and open the hosts and playbook files. Notice the value specified in options.py. The playbook file shows the commands to be performed. Notice the values set by the options file. If the hosts and playbook files look correct, go back to your SSH session and press Enter. Type your device password. The job is finished. I can see the playbook results by opening playbookresults.txt. The job was successful. Another option for authentication is to use a host's header file. This file was created in the setup video and contains encrypted credentials for your devices. To get started, I will change Use Host's Header to True. Note that the Ansible user option becomes irrelevant when Use Host's Header is true. For now, I will leave the host's header file path as is. Currently, our host's header file is still in the setup directory. I will move it to the root directory. Note that the path in options.py is relevant to the scripts we run in the terminal. For example, the script I'll be running is sendcommands.py. The host header is in its parent directory. Therefore, if I want to reference the host's header file, I would write //hosts header. I will now run the send command script again to show we will not be prompted for a username and password. The playbook is finished without prompting for credentials. I will now examine the files in the jobs directory. Note that the job succeeded. In the hosts file, notice that I have a username, but there is no device password or enable password. This is because I have remove become and remove password set to true. Setting these options to false will preserve the passwords. Before I run the task again, I will open the hosts header to show it can be edited directly. Let's say you do not want an encrypted username. You can enter it in clear text. You can also change other options such as setting Ansible become to yes if your devices start SSH sessions in user exec mode. Note that if you specify yes and you do not need it, the task will not fail. However, if your devices need the enable password and you specify no, the task will fail. I will now run the task again. Notice become is set to yes. The username is in clear text and the passwords are preserved. The Ansible exec option will generally be kept as is. If you installed Ansible from pip for a single user rather than the whole system, you can use this commented out Ansible exec option. If security is a concern, you can keep your hosts header on a different machine, copy it to the Jobiation server just before running a task, and then remove it after the task. The remove hosts header option will aid in this process by removing the hosts header after every task. The inventory file option lets you specify the name and location of the inventory file. You can keep multiple inventory files and change this option to specify the file to be used. Convert host line end and convert PB line end values will probably never change. Notice this file's line endings are LF. If I want the hosts and playbook files to have CRLF line endings, I can set this option to true. I can use the host conditions file to limit the devices in the job. Let's say I want to perform a task on only the first two routers. I can create a column and mark the first two routers. Now I will put a new condition in host conditions.py so only devices with a 1 in the change it column are included in the job. Notice there are only two devices in the job. If I specify a string value for prepend job name, that string will be added to every job directory name. This is helpful if you are using Jobiation for config backups and want to distinguish scheduled backup tasks for manual tasks. Notice backup underscore is prepended to the job directory. If you would like to receive an email notification when tasks fail, you can uncomment these three options. If you would like to use a custom notify script when jobs fail, create it and specify its path in the notify script option.